Hey guys, Darth Mel's here. Today we're going to bring you the first look at the TXQ NeoSabers Knightfall Anakin lightsaber with the dual crystal. What does the Arabic writing say? What are some of its features? And how does its sizing and specs compare to a traditional Anakin lightsaber? We have that all coming next for you in the review. So I don't know about you, but when I saw this Knightfall lightsaber, I definitely got excited about it. I saw this advertised on TXQ and also on NeoSabers, roughly around $350 to $400 depending if you're getting a blade. And obviously what's got all our attention is that this one comes with a dual crystal chamber. So obviously it is the EP3. We want to see its sizing and specs compared to the original. Obviously want to bring it to you guys to see what you think the value is of the saber, if you like the specs, the comparisons, and all the features. So here's the box that it comes in. It says, become a universe hero. I did not get mine with the blade. It also says, light up your galaxy journey. And this is what you'll get if you get the option with no blade as I did. You'll get the saber. You'll see there is some instructions here and your charging cord and tool. So here's an up close look at this hilt. As you can see, it definitely has all the EP3 type features as far as its shiny chrome finish and design, as far as the ignition switch and like this side clip. But it does have Arabic writing on the side and a dual crystal reveal, as you can see. But overall, it just looks a little bit oversized than the traditional EP3. I will compare that side by side. You can see the pommel is definitely a little bit different as far as the bottom for the speaker and its spacing. So there's definitely some differences. The question will be is how scale and accurate it is, but also how cool and unique its features are, and we can compare and discuss that. Give you a quick look at both sides. Again, traditional type of bunny ears. Mine did not come with a blade plug, so that was a little bit disappointing for the price point because these are not cheap. And definitely a fingerprint magnet, so you better wear gloves. And this is the 7/8 inch blade, so it's not your 1 inch typical. It is the smaller size blade that you will have to purchase, or when you buy the saber, to know that it will not fit your other 1 inch blade. So you will need to purchase it with a blade if you do not have the 7/8 inch blade. So on the TXQ and NeoSabers website, they do sell this Knightfall Anakin lightsaber in multiple versions. They might have a RGB on a couple of the sites. But they also have the SNV4, which is the typical TXQ, and they do have a Proffie. So I purchased the Proffie version of this saber. To get to the core, you unscrew the pommel. Again, I'm going to reiterate that it is very much a fingerprint magnet, and I would guess that it would lightly scuff very easy. So I've been very, very gentle with mine personally. You pull out the core. It is a pretty beautiful, nice, detailed core. As you notice, it does have a smaller battery than all your other Neopixels that you probably have purchased or own. This core definitely has a lot of features that we're all looking for. It has your kill switch, it has the port for your Proffie board, and it also has the port for your charger with your C cord. It does have a different style design as far as this not being a full circle as far as the top of the electronics with the pins. Kind of a unique design there. As you can see, your SD card. I'll have you guys take a look at the core.
I have seen that it is the Jedi who will stand in the way of peace.
Pretty nice Anakin sound font. As I mentioned, these nice blue lights that shine throughout the core on the front here, and there are some in the back. So you definitely have to look to line this up to make sure that you have the core in correctly. Put that in like so. To get to the core, you can unscrew the pommel, or you can unscrew the lower part of the hilt itself. So that is particularly up to you. I know you guys are going to be excited about this crystal as much as I was. It's got that full picture of Anakin Skywalker. It's got the blue crystal and the red crystal. So no, the crystal does not change color due to the sound fonts or the blade color. It will always stay blue and always stay red, identifying Anakin with his struggle with the light and the dark side. Of course, you're going to get all the cool Proffie features. Pretty sweet. I was definitely blown away. I think it's a very awesome, unique feature that's out there. Especially if you're an Anakin fan as I am, or the Darth Mells are. We've met Hayden multiple times. Of course, like all Proffie, it has gesture control. Alright, so here's that comparison to your typical 89 Saber style Thigh Sabers TXQ traditional EP3. As you can see, there's definitely another inch or so in length of the total size of the hilt. You can see that the grips are different with the spacing here on the bottom. There's a better look at the control box sizing. You can see that it's definitely about a third larger. Same finish, a lot of same details as far as the emitter goes that are accurate. But just some of the fine details I'm assuming have to be off. One of the main ones is that this button is missing on this version. They easily could have put it here, but they did not. So I would have liked to have still seen that there, but you do have your blade retention screw and your damage crystal reveal there. So maybe they felt like they could not make all that work out. Like, man, you can't beat this Arabish writing that says, I have the high ground, or don't underestimate my power. It says something like that. I have not looked it up. Please clarify with me what actually that says in Arabish. That's what's been passed on to me. So obviously this like damage crystal feature is the high end of the saber. I think it's an outstanding saber, but I wanted you guys to see that side-by-side view. Let's take a look at it with the blade in. So as I mentioned previously, it has one retention screw right there. So as always, you want to make sure you apply a little bit of pressure, or you hold your blade up and let gravity do its thing. You have to be very careful not to scratch this saber. So typically the NeoSabers TXQ comes with about 25 sound fonts for their Proffie Neopixel, and about, I think, 27, 28 if you get the SNV4. Again, I will always take the Proffie, but it is a great price point for the SNV4, and I do enjoy that electronic core as well. So I'll show you a few sound fonts. There's a nice blue Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker style.
Tell me, is this training? My training? No. Always universe is.
A lot of the ones we're familiar with.
A dark path we walk. I'm the one you're after. Bring your army. I'm ready. You know nothing of the Jedi.
So I will admit, normally we all hold our hilts kind of high and your hand will get into the crystal. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe not the best swinging saber. You probably don't want to anyways with a dual crystal at this price point. So just keep that in mind. You kind of have to hold it more traditionally, and not a great spinning saber. Not bad, but definitely not recommended as a spinning dueling saber.
Whatever happens, you're not alone.
Definitely want to show you guys a few of these sound fonts in low light.
Dark Sith Red.
Dark Sith Red, very cool sound font. Great blade effects. When you do the smooth swing, it has this candy cane effect. Pretty unique. And look at those crystals. Super impressed. You can definitely hear the crystals running though. That is something that is unique. You hear some other type of motor that is running the crystals. It's very light, but it is noticeable, and I think that is something that you should be aware of. This is the Highlander sound font. Saboba Pod Racer. This hilt has all your typical sound fonts, plus some extras. Most of which you've probably heard on all the other boards. There's a few new ones on this one that I have not heard as kind of the standard sound font lineup. Has very good flash on clash. Your lockup. I want to give you guys a quick look at the crystal in action in low light up close. Alright, so what's my overall thoughts on this Knightfall Anakin V3 Neopixel TXQ lightsaber? Let's go through a few of those positive and negatives again. So we discussed some of the sizing is incorrect. The hilt is a little bit larger than it should be. There's some gaps in the grips and the spacing to the pommel. The ignition switch is a little bit larger. It is missing the button. So those are some features if you want to be exact to spec or to size. So if you're looking for an exact replica, like master replicas, and you want exact sizing, this may not be the hilt for you. That being said, it does have a lot of amazing traditional features and some added features which are just too much to ignore. This dual crystal reveal is amazing. I've seen multiple styles of the crystal reveal and I am blown away and can appreciate this quite a bit. It is pretty awesome. Arabish writing on both sides of the hilt that have to do with Anakin are a very nice touch and feature. Yes, the hilt is a little bit longer than it should be, but that is to adapt to the crystal reveal chamber that I'm assuming that takes up this space. I'm going to say it's a recommend. I would like to have this in my collection if I was a collector and an Anakin fan, which we are as part of the Darth Mels. Another kind of critique I have is the difference in that electronic core. There is a little bit of play and some figuring out to do with that as far as putting this lower pommel on, which isn't my favorite. A few times I snugged it on here as far as screwing it in and it didn't work and I had to undo it a couple times. So I just like the circular design, the fact that it has to kind of fit in the way it fits in. I'm not so sure how that's going to be as far as durability, so we'll have to look at that down the road. Another thing I want to mention is its weight. Its weight is pretty much light to average. It's not heavy at all for having the additional chamber and its longer size. I would say for sure my EP3 original was heavier than this by, a half pound. So its weight is fine. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel super duper heavy duty either. I'm going to bring to you guys on my next video the comparison. I also purchased the black version. So this saber comes in 2 versions. So in the future, I'm going to analyze if you guys think the black or the traditional chrome is the best value. Always hope you guys enjoyed checking out this Knightfall saber with the Darth Mels. Please subscribe. Check out all their other videos. As always, we appreciate the support. Peace. See you next time from the Darth Mels.